branded an ugly college dropout and disowned by my family. 5 years later, I met them at my sister's graduation party. Her professor asked, "Do you know her?" I replied, "You have no idea." They had no clue who I was until. "You're nothing but an ugly college dropout. Don't you dare show your face at this family again." Can you imagine hearing those words from your own mother? Because I heard them 5 years ago, standing on my childhood porch, suitcase at my feet, watching my younger sister Cassandra laugh inside with our parents. That was the day they threw me out, and that was just the beginning. My name is Athena, and I was 22 then. I'm 27 now. For years, I was the family embarrassment, the one who just couldn't measure up. Too plain, too ordinary, too much of a failure to ever deserve their love. Cassandra, on the other hand, she was everything I wasn't. Beautiful, brilliant, driven, their golden child. Growing up, I learned quickly that love in our family was a performance. My parents, successful business owners, demanded perfection. Cassandra delivered. I did not. Everything shattered during my 3rd year of college. I was studying graphic design, and I loved it. Bringing ideas to life, creating art, it was my passion. But my parents hated it. They wanted law or business, something prestigious they could brag about. Graphic design is for people who can't do real work. My father sneered. You're wasting our money on this nonsense. My mother was worse. Every call, every visit, was a painful comparison to Cassandra, who was already on her way to medical school. Your sister's going to be a doctor. What are you going to be? Someone who makes pretty pictures? The criticism gnawed at me. Every word chipped away at my self-worth. When I started struggling with depression and anxiety, they told me to stop being dramatic. When my grades slipped, they threatened to cut me off. I tried to push through, I really did, but the pressure became suffocating. My mental health plummeted. I stopped going to class. I stopped eating. I stopped believing I was worth anything at all. Then, one particularly dark night, I made the only decision I felt I could. I left college. Not because I wanted to, but because I was breaking. When I told them, the explosion was immediate. My mother screamed for hours, calling me an embarrassment, telling me I was throwing my life away. My father looked at me with pure disgust and declared I was no longer his daughter. And Cassandra? She stood in the doorway, a smirk playing on her lips, enjoying every second. She always loved seeing me fall. They gave me 1 week to pack. No money, no place to go, no family to fall back on. I was completely, utterly alone, and I was terrified. I couch surfed for months, waitressing, working retail, cleaning offices at night, anything to survive. I felt like I'd hit rock bottom. But something shifted in me during those brutal months. Maybe it was anger. Maybe desperation. Maybe just pure stubbornness. But I decided I wouldn't let them define me anymore. Their version of me? It wasn't my truth. I saved every single dollar. I taught myself advanced design software through free online tutorials. Every spare moment, I built a portfolio. I offered small businesses cheap logos and websites, just to get experience. And slowly, agonizingly slowly, I started to build something. It wasn't easy. There were nights I went to bed hungry because internet access was a higher priority than food. There were moments I wanted to give up, when that voice in my head, eerily like my mother's, told me I was foolish. But I kept going. And eventually, things started to change. My work improved. My clients grew. My rates soared. I went from couches to a tiny studio, then a 1-bedroom. From freelancing to owning my own design agency. 5 years. 5 years of working myself to exhaustion, of proving everyone wrong, of becoming someone I could finally be proud of. I cut them all off, changed my number, moved across the city. I wanted nothing to do with them. Then, on a warm spring evening, a social media message popped up from an old high school friend. An invitation to Cassandra's graduation party. My sister was finally a doctor, and the family was throwing a massive celebration at an upscale downtown venue. It felt like a trap. Why would they want me there? But as I stared at that message, something inside me clicked. Maybe it was time to face them. Not as the broken, desperate girl they discarded, but as the woman I had become. I wrestled with it for a week. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to keep living my peaceful, successful life without them. I built all of this without their help, without their approval. Why look back? But another part of me, a deep, simmering part, wanted them to know I hadn't just survived, I'd thrived. The party was scheduled for Saturday. My parents, never ones to skimp, would throw a lavish event. They loved showing off their perfect lives, their perfect family. I decided to go. Not for their approval. Not for some tearful reunion.